after Christians?
They believe that should be the one to rule the Nigeria, especially when Goodluck Johnson, the president, who is the president of Nigeria currently, is a Christian from the south. And I think that set them off, that how could the Christian be a president in the country where there is a Muslim? They believe that the country should be ruled by Sharia law. And if you can see to Nigeria, the 12 states in the north, they apply the Sharia law in the country, even though there are minority Muslims who live with them, Christian, but still they apply the Sharia law. So to them is that they should take all the Nigerian to be ruled by Islamic law. So they are not happy with the system of the government in Nigeria currently.
The level of violence, we are just now learning about the Boko Haram because of the violence, because they've kidnapped these hundreds of Christian schoolgirls. What motivates them to do that particularly? Because they've been burning churches and burning and killing people. What motivated to kidnap these girls? But what can the government do, and what are they trying to do?
Well, I think the government in Nigeria is in a very tough situation with my work in Nigeria with the victim of Boko Haram. You know, the Nigerian military is made up with the different tribes and different religions, and it's very hard for them to fight the Boko Haram. I think that is one of the reasons the Nigerian army is unable to crush the Boko Haram. Because
they'd be fighting against each other.
Of course,
themselves.
Right. If you go to attack Boko Haram, then news will leak to them easily from inside the military. And that is one of the reasons that the government is not doing well. And part of it, there are wealthy people in Nigeria who are Muslim, who are supporting the Boko Haram in secret. They are not coming out to say, this is what we are doing. They are not happy with the with the Christian president in the country. So their job is to get rid of Goodluck Johnson and put the Muslim guy in. So
tacitly, they are supporting the Boko Haram, these wealthy people in Nigeria.
Correct, in a secret, but they are not coming out to say this frankly. And the Sudanese government is behind them, and they are not coming out to say that they are supporting this. Because for them, they believe that in the 60s, the Nigerian was strongly ruled by the Muslim leaders. And they see now things are changing. All what they want to do is to have the power in Nigeria to contain the Christianity in Nigeria. That is the whole agenda.
They want to exterminate the Christians?
They want them to eliminate them. They want them to be minority. They want them not to have power in the country.
And to do that, they're terrorizing.
They're terrorizing them.
What kind of things have you seen of the victims? Because you've been working on the ground with the victims of the Boko Haram. What kind of things have you been seeing, and what kind of things have you been hearing?
Well, for instance, the one group I'm working with in Madela, in Niger Delta, there were people in 2011 went to the church during the Christmas. And when the Christmas was parked, the car was detonated and it was exploded and killed about 43 people in the church. And about 200 members of the church were wounded. And these are the people I'm working with now. People who lost hands, who lost eyes. Some of them, still have mental in their brain, and they are suffering of that. Some people lost their business, and they have to start doing that. What I'm seeing from the people now coming from the other side of Enugu, the Christians are running away from the north because they target their business, because Christians are very business-minded in Nigeria. And what Boko Haram is doing is going after their businesses and bomb them and destroy them. In the northern Nigeria, in one state, there were about 52 churches. Today, only 2 of them left, and 50 of them has been destroyed by Boko Haram. So all these people are coming back from the north, running to the south to save their life because they are afraid of the violence. And these are the people I'm working with to support them.
Are we going to see 2 states in Nigeria like we've seen in Sudan, in the years to come? Is that where we're headed?
Right, but we should prevent that. We should not let that happen to Nigeria, really. The world should stand up, because if we allow that to Boko Haram, it is going to be Islamic government in the middle of Africa. And we know that their aim is not only Nigeria, their eyes is on the other country. So if they manage to form their own country in Nigeria, for sure they will move to the next neighbor country and they will terrorize them. So I believe the way we dealt with Taliban should be the same way we should deal with the Boko Haram.
Wow. Franco Mayok, thank you very much for being here on A Spirited Debate. You were the project manager for Nigeria projects of the Christian Solidarity International. You're on the ground in Nigeria. Thank you very much for opening our eyes and to shedding some light on what's going on actually in Nigeria.
And our website is www.csi-usa.org.
Okay.
People can look into that and
Absolutely, yes. www.csi, that's Christian Solidarity International -USA.org. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
You must go and listen to Simon Ekpa, who is doing a very fantastic job. Very great job that Simon Ekpa is doing. Very, very, absolutely fantastic job that he's doing. You must listen to him and share his videos accordingly. Very, very important. He is bringing a new dimension to this very awareness that we are making, and you must listen to him. Very, very important.
Nigeria, on a daily basis, witness the impunity which is so-called Fulani herdsmen extremists who share an ethnic and religious identity with President Buhari and the Fulani elite, which now dominates all key institutions in Nigeria.
To open an investigation specifically into the wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, and most notably targeting the indigenous people of Biafra.
Clear that now we've put the Biafran issue on the radar screen of the government, of the Biden administration, of Congress.
Ongoing and wide-scale systematic killing of the civilian population, and again, specifically targeting the IPOB.
Of weapons being used against Biafrans, but affirmatively supporting an effort to have an independence referendum organized and conducted by the United Nations, as was done in South Sudan.
They formally open an investigation and look into what we are identifying as a genocide that's being committed by the Nigerian government and extremist Fulanis against the indigenous people of Biafra.
There's been enough of an experience since 1960 to suggest there simply is not a way, given the history of division between the Fulani and the Biafrans, to think that they can coexist under a single sovereign roof.
When we are saying we want to be free, it is not only Biafra that is going to be free this year. A lot of nations will break. Nigeria is going to break into pieces, and we, the Biafra people, are going to make it possible. I am telling you now, it is not a hidden thing. It is going to happen this year. Those of you who are planning to have election in 2023, which is next month, you are going to fail. We will disappoint you, and you will disappoint yourself. From tonight, any village in Biafra land, any community in Biafra land that is burnt by any Nigeria agent in any nomenclature, anything in that area will be engaged. Any facility where they come from to burn and kill our women in our villages, we, the Biafra people, are going to engage them. Be it the military barracks, be it the 82 division, be it anything. You come again to burn any village in any way in Biafra. From tonight, we will engage you. You know, we have been making this pronouncement before, and I believe that the time has come to make it a reality. It is time we are going to take it upon ourselves. It is man to man, inch by inch, block by block. If it is Dr. Chuayaba, we are not going to allow you again to kill our people and go free. It is never going to happen again.
Assalamu alaikum. What is Nnamdi Kanu still doing in the DSS custody? An order has been given from the court to the government that Nnamdi Kanu should be returned back to Kenya, and he should be compensated with a sum of 500 million naira, but he is still in their custody. Why? Why? Has Nigeria gotten to a level that we don't have laws any longer? We don't abide by the rules and regulations given to us? If we are to break these rules, oh, what a pity to us. But now, it's for the government to do what is right, but they are not. Instead, discrimination, tribalism, ethnicity has become the order of the day for them. And I don't know what they are putting in the minds of the Southeast and the Northerners. Because we, the Northerners, are the ones being affected. Why? Because the people ruling us are from the North. I blame them. See, there is no way I will blame the Southeast if they think of having their own nation, with the way things are going, with the way our governments are taking things. in on serious. Let me say it that way. If you're making us look, I never for once loved the Southeast. The only thing I had for them then was hatred, but I came to realize that this is not how it's supposed to be. Then let the government do what is right. If an order has been given, an order is an order. Let's abide, let's go by that order. Not bringing in discrimination, bringing our tribalism into our mind. Oh, come on. That is not what we are out for. And that is why we will keep fighting till what we are looking for is achieved. Please, this man should be returned back to Kenya because he was kidnapped to this place. If I was being kidnapped, I would not be happy about it too. Let me be realistic and let me be sincere about it. Please, my viewers, share this video. Let it go viral so that all citizens, all masses of this country will see it, because Nigeria is no longer a lawful state or a lawful country any longer. We have rules and regulations. Let's go by that. Let's abide by it. An order is an order, like I said. And we, the Northerners, we want to be our brother's keeper. We don't want the Southeast to see us as if we are the enemies. We don't want to be their enemy, and we don't want them to be our enemy also. So let the government do what is appropriate. Please and please share this video so it go viral.
You must go and listen to Simon Ekpa, who is doing a very fantastic job. Very great job that Simon Ekpa is doing. Very, very, absolutely fantastic job that he's doing. You must listen to him and share his videos accordingly. Very, very important. He is bringing a new dimension to this very awareness that we are making, and you must listen.
I am Olayomi Koiki of Koiki Media and also the spokesman for Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. First and foremost, I'm going to try and speak English to direct message back to the IPOB that we are Yorubas, a very proud one. Whatever you have against what took place yesterday, you have the right in your own capacity, but you don't have the right to tell us who we deal with among you, IPOB. We can deal with anybody that we feel that is the right person to deal with. If you have a problem with that, you can go into any of the bridge or rivers across the world where you are and jump into that river and die. I am known as Koiki Media. And whatever we do with Simon Ekpa has been stamped yesterday, the 5th of November, and that will go ahead. Whatever is your concern on that, we don't give a toss. My name is Olayomi Koiki. Probably maybe some of you don't know who I am. Let me repeat this clearly, that the only person that we follow is our own leader that have spoken yesterday. And since our leader have spoken, if you are not comfortable with that, why should we care about that? Let me say it again. If you have a problem with Simon Ekpa, go and die into any of the river, or you can take the rope and kill yourself today. We are fighting one single enemy. We don't have any issue with the Biafra. We only have issue with the Fulani. Don't you understand that also among us, we have issues. We have people that probably even do not believe in what we are doing. So why should we be more concerned about you on what we do with Simon Ekpa? And I repeat again to any Yoruba that is not comfortable with what we done yesterday, go and die as well. Elaku, gbogbo Yoruba tó bá farasin dashilano, elo jaso make kudanu. Mad people all over the place. We have moved forward yesterday, and that is the beginning. I have spoken again this morning to Chief Sunday Igboho. For those of you that feel convinced Igboho, pé kó má ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú Simon Ekpa, orí yín ti gbálẹ̀ gbogbo yín pátápátá gbogbo ẹni mo fi sọ ní bíbá orí gbogbo yín ti gbálẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín pé ẹ lè wàárín èmi àti Chief Sunday Igboho ẹ lè wọ̀ láyé kí ni mo sọ ẹ lè wọ̀ láyé. I don't have any problem with our Biafra. Can you talk about our Biafra? We deal with Simon Ekpa. And let me put this on record for those of you that probably did not know. Before Nnamdi Kanu was picked up, we had 4 meetings. I don't have to go into all the details. Myself was in that meeting. It was actually Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that called for that meeting. We did not go for him. He actually wanted to speak to us. And whatever he told us is what we are going along with. We respect all the legal representative of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We don't have any problem with you guys. But if you think that by dealing with Simon Ekpa is a crime against humanity, I say it again, go and die. You better die now before it is too late. Because we are fighting only one enemy. And that enemy is not Simon Ekpa. That enemy is not even the Biafra. But if you as an individual that think that, hey, take down that picture of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, let me say this clearly. Nnamdi Kanu is not just for the Biafra. It was actually fighting for the whole humanity. And let me say this again. We have the right to use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu picture at any time, any day, and I will talk about it at any time without taking any instruction from anybody. I am Olayomi Koiki. If you are not comfortable with that, like I said, I am not Mayegun General. This is Koiki Media, fighting for one singular cause, fighting for the Yoruba people, the Biafra people, the Arewa people, and all the freedom fighters around the world that would love to exit that shit old country known as Nigeria. If you are not comfortable with that, there's not much I can do.
For politics, all politics, tomorrow is eternity. Nobody will tell you that I've completed the plan to win election or completed a plan to get support. Things can change, but the truth of the matter is that Igbo have a convincing argument to present before the country. And for those who are willing and open-minded, they will understand how, indeed, compellingly reasonable it is for them to support Southeast to produce the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria the next time around. A sense of balance, a sense of belonging is extremely important in a federation. In fact, when people talk about justice or injustice, it's because it hasn't affected you. You think it will not come to you. In 2013, I had an interview. I said that the injustice method for Igbos will be going around. I also wrote why the Igbo youths are angry. Today, all youths in Nigeria are angry. They're angry. Because one affected one group, and everybody, it was like an isolated case, has become a plague. So what do you do? So the Igbos are getting ready and they are fighting. Like every battle, you need a few good men to win. It takes a few to achieve victory for many. Speaking with one word, one voice. That is not political now. One voice is dictatorial. One voice is unacceptable in a plural society, especially irrepressible pluralistic society like Nigeria. Certainly irrepressible individualists like Igbos. Now, my friend, what are Igbos bringing? In fact, they are bringing visible and conspicuous achievement, capacity to turn difficulties, to turn these national difficulties into dividends for Nigeria, obstacles into opportunities. Let me tell you the truth. Nations are saved by two kinds of events, either through leadership or through structure. none of which has worked in Nigeria. The Igbo man can change it. He's not a greedy man. He is also not a lazy man. Forget every perception you may have about the Igbos. The Igbos know how to share things and let others begin to take. And he's willing to take the last. Just as we're taking the last of all the zones in Nigeria for presidency. You will see a difference, my friend. The difference will be clear. The difference will be that the country will be stable because you are getting a government that will embrace justice, equity, and fairness. Charity to all and malice towards none. We are the federating people in Nigeria. Yes. If Nigerians live in the moon, the Igbo man is there.
Good evening, Biafra people. What you just listened to are all Badadash. Welcome to this State of the Nation press briefing today, the 8th day of February 2023. And I know that a lot of people are watching, struggling to get into the Enter Biafra channel because there is a lot of requests. So the platform is kind of experiencing a heavy, traffic of people. So if you manage to find yourself on the platform of Enter Biafra, you have to enjoy it and welcome to be part of those who will enjoy this particular platform for the very first time. If you noticed, you'll find out that we have our comment section on that Enter Biafra channel 1, where you can also click and untick the box to be able to see the comments of others. So if you are coming for the very first time, which is today, this is the first time you will be commenting live on our platform, Enter Biafra channel 1. I welcome you, all Biafrans. I welcome you, lovers of freedom. I welcome you, the auto-piloted IPOB all over the world. You are welcome to this groundbreaking State of the Nation press briefing, which is going to be one thing that has happened to our struggle today. It is going to be like never before, what you have not seen before. This particular press briefing is not just a State of the Nation address, but more of press briefing, what we have done and achieved in a couple of weeks back and months ago. And then going forward to the resolve of the Biafra people in the coming frontland election in Nigeria, and how we plan to make sure that this election do not take place in Biafra territory. So I welcome you all. I welcome the press. I welcome all the people who have come to observe what I'm going to say today, especially those following us on Twitter as well. So the Twitter channel will not be cut off today because of the so many requests that is coming to the website. And the issue of these so many requests coming to the website will be fixed immediately after this State of the Nation broadcast. You can also watch the broadcast after this broadcast when the video will be uploaded. I want to inform the world that our resolve to stop Nigeria election in Biafra land is not an issue that we are going to think about. It is an issue that already has been decided by the Biafra people. And IPOB or Biafra did not invent the notion of no election or election boycott as a tool of civil disobedience in other nations, as a tool of civil disobedience to fight for what is their right. The no election or boycotting of election is as old as civilization, built on institutionalized injustice. In Nigeria, in the history of Nigeria, a man called Awolowo boycotted Nigeria election in 1964. History is repeating, but with a little step forward. And like I say, I did not come here to address Biafrans as addressing the states of the nation, but it is going to be more of press briefing. The only thing is that there is no Nigeria Zoom media that will be here to ask me questions. So Awolowo boycotted Nigeria election in 1964. It did not start from us. What led to Awolowo boycotting election in 1964 did not end. It did not start. Rather, the situation is worse. In 1964, Awolowo boycotted Nigeria election and it directly led to the coup and later a civil war. We are only taking a step forward. We should also remain determined, the Biafra people, in our resolve not to participate in the next coming election exercise that would rather and further entrench the system of impoverishment and the many injustices done to Biafra people and other indigenous Nigerians. And this particular decision is sealed, that we can never take our foot backward except on one condition that I'm going to make very clear as we go further. To vote or participate in the coming election in Nigeria is to endorse the Frontland 1999 Constitution that is drafted in favor of the caliphate domination. Today, they have dominated everywhere. They have hijacked all the system and against Biafrans and other indigenous nationalities in Nigeria, especially those in the southern part and part of Benue State or the Middle Belt. This Frontland Constitution is the grandfather of the Frontland election that you are talking about today that will take place on February 25th. And I must tell you that this particular 25th proposed election or purported election must fail in Biafra territory. We will never validate those who have committed war crimes in our land. We will never validate a government that have committed genocide against our people. We will never validate a government that sponsors terrorism against their own citizens. We will never validate a government that care nothing about their own citizens. Only when it is election time, they will come and start forcing the Biafra people to go out there and vote. This Frontland Constitution, which is the 1999, is the grandfather to the Frontland election that all of you are talking about, parading yourself, killing yourself in the streets of Nigeria in the name of campaigning. It is time for our people to learn from the experience of those amongst us who have slaved for Nigeria for many years, especially in the present government. Participating in the previous election have not benefited us. So, what makes you think that this particular February 2023 is going to make a difference? We have seen the Goodluck Jonathan, we have seen Obasanjo, we have seen also Yaradua. It didn't lead you to anything. The same people that are shouting about P2B today, or Atiku today, or Tinubu today, were the same people who were telling you in 2015 that have seen a Messiah in Buhari, that Buhari have all it takes to come out and save Nigeria. What they refuse to understand is Nigeria were never designed to progress. Nigeria were never designed for a benefit of the masses. Rather, it was designed for what happened in Afghanistan, for Taliban to take over Nigeria. That is the primary structure of Nigeria, and today it is manifesting. And I have to tell the Biafra people today that the time has come for our people to learn from these experiences of the past. And those who claim that they know it all and they know that P2B or Atiku or Tinubu or whoever, Pampaso and co have anything to do to Nigeria, they are just deceiving you and lying to yourself. And because of what we have known And the secret we know, which you do not have information to, and you do not have, you are not privy to these informations, we have decided that the best interest of Biafra is to not validate Nigeria. And that decision is final. Having understand that the constitution of Nigeria is dead, the laws of Nigeria is dead, Nigeria no longer respect their own law, their own law court, and when the court gave decision or verdict in favor of certain individual, the government that be, which is the Fulani government, will always, their own decision will always prevail. So the government or individuals in the government has become the law, and we can no longer validate such nonsense and such evil. In a country where court will rule something and the government will say no. And then, or in a country where you will go into election and at the end of the day, the court will be the one that will decide who win the election and who lost the election. It has happened in Imo State. Today it has happened in Osun State also. And it is going to happen and will continue to happen. The electorate is not the one deciding the fate of the people in Nigeria. Rather, the court that are made up of Fulani judges. So for this reason and numerous reasons, we have decided that the 2023 general election can never ever take place in Biafra territory. And it is time of our people to learn and not always allow, when the rain starts falling on you, you start running outside or running, looking for a way to, to shelter yourself. This very election will once again give you an executive president. That is for those going into the election that will have the farewell to come to your land and appropriate your resources. And then also, send Fulanis who will come for bloodshed. The president will do everything to serve the interests of the Fulanis. And I want you to understand today that in APC, you have Fulani who is representing you. In PDP, you have a Fulani man who is representing them. In P2B's party, you have a Fulani man who is also representing them in Labour Party. And they have been able to fix themselves in all the political parties. So if this one lose, this one win. If this one lose, the other one win. And what it means to them is that whoever loses the election, it is win-win for Fulanis. The only people that did not have candidates in those political parties are the Yorubas and the Igbos. And the war is between the Fulani and the rest of Nigerians. And that is exactly what we are doing today. I want to remind you also that during the apartheid in South Africa, the effectiveness of the no election found expression in June of 1976. The youth uprising in Soweto, South Africa, youth got tired of being taught and instructed in their schools in a language that wasn't their mother's tongue and the language of repression. They extended this no election or boycott of schools to boycott of the election. It was only after the June 1967, the Soweto uprising, that the world joined them in their demand, and the rest is history. And I want to tell you today that we are already there, where after this 25th of February, the world will join Biafra to talk about it. And I want to share the news today to the Biafra people of the first international media interview I granted today. Lasted for about 4 to 5 hours. And it is indeed a groundbreaking interview, which is going to be on media in a few days' time. I will not announce the media house at this point, but I want everybody to wait until you are going to watch that particular interview in the media. It's very, very important. We are going to stream it once it is out. But the interview was very successful, and those who came to interview me now understand Nigeria better. They also understand Biafra better. And going forward, they will be pushing for the interest of those who have fallen victim of this evil entity. And that is a promise that I'm giving Biafra today, and it's a success that we have recorded. So I will wait for that particular interview to speak for itself. And I want to inform Biafra again that historically, it is proven that the necessary tool for both active and passive resistance and need. I don't need to mention many nations that have used this particular approach that we're using today, because we have researched very well. They have applied the boycott or no election, means expressing and achieving their demand for freedom. And I want to tell you people today that no matter how you are being challenged, threatened by the Nigeria state, we must stand on our ground and make this particular legitimate demand that the only election that will be allowed in Biafra territory will be the referendum. It is going to be only the referendum. Now, in order to achieve this, the Nigeria experience with election boycott since 1964 tells the same story of what is happening today, but there have been history, and Jews won't teach you to go to school and learn this history in the school. And I want to inform you today, my people, we have the moral and the religious obligation to make these sacrifices that we are making today. And if you are part of this sacrifice, you are making history. For our future generation, please, they blame us for the inability and our inactions. That we are standing under a shade today is possible only because somebody somewhere did something. Where I am today, people died for this particular freedom, and I am doing the same thing for my people. I want you to understand that for us to achieve this particular no election in Biafra territory, there are measures that we have put in place. And those measures is the most important aspect of this particular State of the Nation address today, which I want Biafrans to listen to. But before I do that, I would like to recommend and thank and appreciate few individuals. For the very first time during this Biafra State of the Nation press briefing, I am going to recognize individuals. And these individuals are no other people than one. I would like to appreciate Ikenga Imo. Ikenga Imo for his persistent calling on the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I want to commend him, and I want to tell him to stay very strong. We know that Imo State Governor, the administrator of Fulani, has been on his neck, trying everything and every means possible to assassinate him. He will not succeed. He will not succeed, even though Ikenga Imo is running for election in Nigeria that is not taking place. But for the fact that he has deemed it fit to publicly call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I am recognizing him this evening and appreciate the courage and the resoluteness in him. He has called for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu not once, not twice. The next person is Soludo of Anambra State. Irrespective of our differences, irrespective of our opinions and all that, Soludo, I have to commend you this evening for two issues that you have done. Two things. One is calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Two is that you remove the taxation, that inhuman taxation that you imposed on Anambra people. I commend you for that particular, because I called on you to retrace your step on this taxation, and you're listening to that. And today you have removed the taxation you impose on Anambra people. So I commend you for these two particular things you've done. And then that is not to say that I am validating whatever you are doing in Nigeria, because even if you remove the taxation, you have not changed anything in Anambra State. There is no hospital, there is no road, there is no security, and the name is endless. And then the third person is Reverend Father Mbaka. I have to commend Father Mbaka for also calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he continued to call for that even when he is under threat. So Father Mbaka, the Biafra people say I should tell you that we appreciate you and thank you, and Lord will continue to give you the courage and the power to always speak for those who are voiceless. Now, in order to actualize the no election in Biafra land and restore Biafra. I want Biafrans to pay attention to this particular special announcement. Very, very important. Very, very important. In order to implement the stop of Nigeria election in Biafra land, the Biafra people have decided that we are going to implement the following mechanisms. One, on the 23rd day of February 2023, there will be sit at home. 2, on the 24th day of February 2023, there will be lockdown in entire Biafra territory. 3, on the 25th day of February 2023, Biafra land will be under lock and key. On the 26th of February 2023, Biafra land will be sealed and will be under lock and key. There will be no movement of chicken. On the 27th of February 2023, Biafra land will be under total lock and key. On the 28th of February 2023, Biafra land will be under lock and key. And I want Biafrans to understand that this particular date and days is still subject to review. The review in the sense that the sit at home may be called off at any point in time. In addition to the aforementioned date, there will be imposition of curfew in 2 of those days. And I want people to pay attention attentively. On the 24th and on the 25th of February 2023, in addition to sit at home, there will be 6 to 6 curfew in certain areas. And listen and pay attention to those areas that this curfew will be affected. There will be an imposition of curfew in the following areas. All federal roads leading to Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo State. And I want everybody to understand that this particular curfew, which is going to be on the 24th, in addition to sit at home, and on the 25th, in addition to sit at home, will be implemented in towns like Okigwe. Okigwe will observe, in addition to sit at home, a curfew. Oweri in Imo State province will observe curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. in addition to sit at home. Olu will observe curfew from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on the 24th and on the 25th. Abakaliki in Ebonyi province will observe a curfew in addition to the sit at home. Enugu metropolis will observe this curfew in addition to the sit at home. This curfew is on the 24th and on the 25th of February 2023. I want Biafrans to understand that on these days mentioned, it will be an open war between Biafra and Nigeria, because we are fighting to protect our life, our property, our villages, our culture and value. So anybody who Nigeria government send to come and fight Biafra, we will engage you. Let this particular announcement go very viral for everybody to know that on the 24th and on the 25th of February 2023, in addition to sit at home on these days, we are having curfew in Imo State, mostly in Imo State. This curfew will be in Okigwe, Oweri, Olu, Abakaliki, Enugu metropolis. Anybody who the Nigeria government want to use to blackmail Biafra, you will not be there to tell the story. because we know what they do to people who disobey these things, because they know that this order is always something that really pinches their skin. And we are going to use it until Biafra exit Nigeria. We want you to understand that the current jihad, financial jihad going on in Nigeria, trying to cripple everything we do in Biafra land, will be over. We will scale through it, and Biafra people will survive it. I want to also announce the provinces where this election will be bad. Abakaliki, there will be no election in Abakaliki province in Biafra. There will be no election in Afikpo. There will be no election in Oji River. There will be no election in Enugu. There will be no election in Nsukka. There will be no election in Owerri. There will be no election in Olu. There will be no election in Okigwe. There will be no election in Aba. There will be no election in Umuahia. There will be no election in Nnewi. There will be no election in Onitsha. There will be no election in Awka. There will be no election in Agbo. There will be no election in Warri. There will be no election in Ughelli. There will be no election in Asaba, which is Ababa in Biafra. There will be no election in Yenegua. There will be no election in Ahuda. There will be no election in Degema. There will be no election in Iguacha. There will be no election in Calabar. There will be no election in Ogoja. There will be no election in Eket. There will be no election in Uyo. There will be no election in Kote-Ekpene. There will be no election in Anan. There will be no election in Auchi. There will be no election in Benin. There will be no election in Idoma. There will be no election in Igala. All these places, 31 provinces of Biafra, there will be no Nigeria election come 25th day of February 2023. I want to thank Biafrans today who have struggled to join this State of the Nation briefing and make sure that this announcement that are passed here spread very wide and goes viral for every Biafrans to follow. We have many days ahead of us to make sure that this information goes viral. In addition to this, remember that from the 15th of February 2023, Nigeria will go under very, very serious chaotic situation, because we have all the intels of what most of those people trying to, cause confusion in the Biafra struggle are planning to do. So we call on all Biafrans all over Nigeria, wherever you find yourself, to be very, very careful and very vigilant that from the 15th day of this month, there is a planned, a planned crisis against Biafra, especially against Ndibo. So if you are in Lagos, if you are in other parts of the north, you have to be very, very careful. We are monitoring the situation and those who are sponsoring this thing. So, and we are going to always bring the intels to you and the information as they come. And I believe that it will be curtailed before then. So we call on Biafrans outside Biafra land, not just in Lagos or anywhere, but if you find yourself outside Biafra land, in other parts of Nigeria, we call you to be very, very security conscious, starting from the 15th day of this month. Very important. This particular one is very important. I thank you all, and I want to also make it very clear that the Biafra government have activated some department. The department as follows. The Biafra government in exile have activated the following department. Have activated the media and communication department of the Biafra government. We have also activated the transportation department of the Biafra government. We have as well activated the oil and gas department of the Biafra government. We have also activated the building, the architect of Biafra government, those who make decision on the building and construction of the Biafra department. This department has been activated and they are working tirelessly to bring something that what Biafra is going to look like. So we thank them, and those who are coordinating this particular department, we thank them and urge them to, bring in their best and experience to serve the Biafra people. I want you all to understand that the only option and the only condition that will stop the aforementioned days of sit at home or change anything is the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We continue to demand for the unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Once Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released, between now and the 15th of this month, we are going to consider this sit at home, and a new arrangement will be put in place. This arrangement will favor whoever that has been against our sit at home, and the previous and other sit at home will be called off and cancelled immediately. And this is a message directly to the Nigeria Fulani Caliphate, who think they own Nigeria and own the law and own everybody. If you release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the days of this sit at home will be reconsidered, and we are going to leave the sit at home. And this is a condition that we have reached, and this condition is final. Anything less than that, when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is inside there in dungeon, believe me, we will face you if you come to force election into our land, and the days is already very close, and we are waiting for you. I want to thank you and thank entire Biafra people for their support, their prayers, and everything you have done to make this struggle a success. We have achieved many things that if we start mentioning it, it will be mind-blowing to the Biafra people. And I want to assure you that we are now 25 days to Biafra. This will come. You will sleep in Nigeria and wake up in Biafra. May God bless you, and may God bless Biafra. From here, from me, it is good evening. Salute to the Biafra Liberation Army. Are saying we want to be free. It is not only Biafra that is going to be free this year. A lot of nations will break. Nigeria is going to break into pieces. And we, the Biafra people, are going to make it possible. I am telling you now, it is not a hidden thing. It is going to happen this year. Those of you who are planning to have a election in 2023, which is next month, you are going to fail. We will disappoint you and you will disappoint yourself.
Nigeria, on a daily basis, witness the impunity which is so-called Fulani herdsmen extremists who share an ethnic and religious identity with President Buhari and the Fulani elite, which now dominates all key institutions in Nigeria.
To open an investigation specifically into the wide-scale and systematic killing of the civilian population, and most notably targeting the indigenous people of Biafra.
Clear that now we've put the Biafran issue on the radar screen of the government, of the Biden administration, of Congress.
Ongoing and wide-scale systematic killing of the civilian population, and again, specifically targeting the IPOB.
Of weapons being used against Biafrans, but affirmatively supporting an effort to have an independence referendum organized and conducted by the United Nations, as we've done in South Sudan.
They formally open an investigation and look into what we are identifying as a genocide.
There's been nothing in experience since 1960 to suggest there simply is not a way, given the history of division between the Fulani and the Biafrans, to think that they can coexist under a single sovereign roof.
You must go and listen to Simon Ekpa, who is doing a very fantastic job. Very great job that Simon Ekpa is doing. Very, very, absolutely fantastic job that he's doing. You must listen to him and share his videos accordingly. Very, very important. He is bringing a new dimension to this very awareness that we are making, and you must listen to him. Very, very important.
Are saying we want to be free. It's not only Biafra that is going to be free this year. A lot of nations will break. Nigeria is going to break into pieces. And we, the Biafra people, are going to make it possible. I am telling you now, it is not a hidden thing. It is going to happen this year. Those of you who are planning to have an election in 2023, which is next month, you are going to fail. We will be